Yeah, I want to talk about the feeding requirements. You see what this guy is doing? I think it's proper, nice to let you guys understand our feeding regime. Actually, we call it the feeding regime. When we talk about of the feeding regime, we talk about of how often do animals supposed to eat. Most of you people, you've been doing the other old arrangement. The other old arrangement was all about these goats going like the way they go. But when you do that, don't expect your animals at least to achieve more, because I told you there are basic things that goats do mostly. Goats are browsers and they feed on shrubs. Browsing means to pick from up, and most of our lands that we buy is always has been actually being used for grass, for maize, for what. So now the kind of grass that is readily available, it is the ground grass, like the way you see in some of my videos. But some people who still have opportunity of having the shrubs, they are more better than all of us. But if you can't have an opportunity of the shrubs, please, I want you to take note of this. What that guy is doing, let me also brief you about how that guy is doing. Whichever you see, those kids in the background, the kids are staying and they are not supposed to go with mothers. I think you're going to see, he has already instructed them. I think you're going to see how they are separating themselves. The kids are going this way and the mothers are going that side. That is all the profits that we have so far of 2 months ago. And I would like you also to see how they are separating. Somebody who says that goats don't understand, he also doesn't understand. You see how they have separated and taken other routes? So these ones, they are going for a feeding. So I was still talking about of the feed. Basically, only this just diverted me a little. If your land is bare, in some places of this country, we have what they call the panicum. It's called panicum maximum. It's a good grass, but it's forcing the animals to feed from the ground. What do you do like for that land? It's a good land. It should have been actually a better land, but because of the practices that they did earlier on their land might not favor you. You get, in one way or the other, being that they cut off all the nutritious grasses because for them it wasn't beneficial. Like those acacias, like the way you see those ones, they have a lot of good protein, but because for the activity that was taking place on that land was not good, you get it, for them, they had to cut them, then make the charcoals, then make what exactly they want to do. And for us who are farmers, for goats, we cannot allow, that doesn't actually help us in one way or the other. Because basically, for us, what we want the shrubs, and we want grasses which is full of protein. I want you to understand, in the places where there is these acacia trees, these are nitrogen fixers. They fix nitrogen in the soil, and most of the time these trees doesn't stop any grass to grow underground because their leaves are even smaller. So for you who are also suffering the same statement of having the land with no shrubs, with no trees, but you only have bare land, these are the conditions that you are supposed to do. One, you let the animals go and feed on whatever they will feed on. But when they come back, you have to do a supplementary. What do you have to do? Guys, I want to bring this in your understanding that goats are small ruminants. That means they cannot harvest a lot and they can't filter a lot. That's why basically their rumens are specifically for grass. Napier is a good grass, is a good feed, but it's not very good for the goats. Those that have witnessed the Napier, I don't see that it's bad. It's a very good and nutritious, but how the rumen of goats are using it is not properly well. The animal utilizes grasses. If you see that this is a grass or this is a legume, please, it's good for those animals. But it's always very, very better for those animals when they are feeding on the dry matter. In their nature, the goats don't utilize fresh grasses. For us, we manage them how? We give them the grass, we let them go graze like the way you see they go to the field and do everything, but we supplement them. What do we supplement on? I've really tried my best to explain to you a lot of things about the supplementary, and that is the alfalfa, that is the chloris, that is the bracharia. Those are some of the grasses that we definitely use for supplementary. So you see these guys are going also, they are going to browse, then on their way back we supplement them with those grasses, because these are small ruminants. And also some other effect that you guys going to get if your animals are grazing like the way you see, you're going to find that your animals are heavily affected by the worms, mostly the tapeworms. If those animals are feeding in the fields of swampy areas, you're going to find a lot of liver flukes. What do we do? Like in the season of the rain, what do we do? Like for us who are grazing our animals, like the way you see, they are looking healthy, but there is a lot in the background that we do. One of them is supplementing. Second of it, we deworm every after 2 months. You know, these old animals would be dewormed every after 3 months, but we deworm them every after 2 months. Why? Because our animals are grazing. If you don't do that, the worm burden will overtake them. You get it? You will not have such kind of animals like the way they look. But their looks is behind a lot of things. One, supplementing with those grasses. Two, deworming them in time. I told you in a rainy season, on the beginning of the rain, we use what they call the injectable dewormers to avoid excessive diarrhea. Then in the middle of the rain, we use the oral dewormers like liver fast diamond. Even if they diurete, they are already used and they already have the muscles. And then finally, at the end of the rainy season, going into the dry spell, we again give them the injectables. You get it? Because they are changing, we give them the oral because they are going into a dry spell. And in a dry spell, most of the worms that we always get, one, we get Haemonchus. Did I say that we give them injectable? Yes, we give them injectable. And we do not give them the oral, because the orals mostly, like liver fast, attacks more of tapeworms, the specific worms, that is tapeworms. Let's go together as I'm going to feed the animals, as I explain to people. So in a dry spell, we get the Haemonchus worms. The Haemonchus worms are really very hard for the liver fast to clear it. So we use injectable dewormers like I+, Bimectin Plus, you get. So, and also it is hard for the tapes to be cleared by the injectables. That one, I know most of you will argue and you will not agree with me because that's what you learned. But I'm telling you what I have experienced. The tapes are always not helped by the what? Are not always cleared by those injectables at my side. So that's why I sometimes use liver fast. You get? So liver fast clears those tapes, and then I+ clears those Haemonchus worms, those that always bring what they call bottle jaw, because most of you have been asking me, Hamisi, how do we handle the bottle jaw? You get? So bottle jaws are always cleared by the injectables like I+, Bimectin Plus. Then again also we give them some pen and strap, because sometimes bottle jaw is brought by many things. Worms, first of all. Secondly, stress, lack of protein. it's a lot that brings all that. So that's why basically we do that. In this video, we've mentioned about 2-3 things. I want to summarize and let you understand. Our summary, it started with how to feed those animals to supplement and bring out good results. 1. 2, I showed you how to separate the kids from the mothers and let you understand that animals understand. 3, I've talked about of what do you deworm with in which season. You get it? So we deworm them with a dewormer, which is I+. I told you we use I+ in a dry spell and at the beginning of the rainy season. What is the point? Is if you deworm them on the nani of the dry spell, or the beginning of the dry spell, and you're using, at the end of the dry spell and you're entering into the rainy season, the rainy season is having fresh grasses. So those fresh grasses causes diarrhea. And if you give it to the dewormer, which causes more diarrhea, it will be worse. You get it? So those are the reasons why we are doing that. So onset of the rain, use the injectables. In the middle of the rain, you can use liver fast because you expect a lot of tapeworms. Then if the rain is going out and you're entering into the season of the dry, what do we expect? We do expect a lot of homunculus worms, tapeworms. We use liver fast. When we go into the dry spell, use injectable dewormers, which are clearing, we are targeting the homunculus. Then also how to separate animals, go in different sections. You've seen the boas going, you've seen the savannas going, you've seen another flock also going separately. That is also another lesson. I've taught you a lot of lessons in this video and I think you understand. But the most important one, how to separate kids. 2, when do we deworm and using which dewormer? When do we use it? So that is also another point. So I want you to understand now. The next video I'm going to make is all about the records. How do you record those activities? So I'll be showing you that video. Then as well, I'm going to show you again the pastures. My work is to show you the overviews of everything. Let me just wish you the best, guys, and bye for now. Tetujazimu kuumira mwaka tetwagala nnyo tutawanya kujjako ng'azinguza zonna kitegeera ziri mmeka kati eno omuwaamu 2 million.